Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to take you through my eBay and Depop sales for the month of June. And that was from the 26th of May to the 22nd of June, where I made a total of 29 sales, which is an average of just one sale a day. Now, I am a part-time reseller, and I will be going through everything, including the cost of goods, how much money I received from the buyer, as well as my net profit after taking away cost of goods, shipping, and any eBay and Depop fees. But anyways, before we get going with these sales, I thought I would insert a little haul where I went the other day op shopping with my mum and just spontaneously picked up some items to flip on eBay and Depop. So I'll insert that haul in here and then we'll get going with these sales. I do have a little bit of a haul for you today. I went on a bit of an unplanned thrift trip with my mum yesterday, where I took her around to some of my favorite thrift stores in our city, and I have come away with a nice bundle. Now, I have done a little bit of reflecting on my store, and I've decided that I'm going to try and focus on building up some really heavy winter items. We are going into winter in Australia, but I am finding that a lot of the items that I'm picking up for that $2 price point, which I often go for, are sort of the summery pieces, which are obviously not as in demand at the moment. So I've decided that I'm comfortable to pay up a little bit, but to have items that are more in demand and therefore will have a faster sell-through rate. Now, of course, I'm still going to make sure that I do have margins for profit, because that's what this is all about. Yeah, so you will notice that some of the items are costing me slightly more, but I think it also sort of reflects in the possible selling price as well. So I do think it sort of works out. Anyways, let's get into it. So the first one that I picked up was this Witchery size 6 button down shirt maxi dress, and it is long sleeve, gorgeous. I think it's really cute. This is probably something that I would actually wear. I did notice that it does have a little hole in the front here, and I did pay $10 for this one, so this was on a 50% off rack, and I'm going to list it up for $29.95 because of the hole. But I do think that this one is an absolutely gorgeous piece that I think should do pretty well. Then next up, I've got this Regatta size 16, and it's just a basic blue long sleeve top, but it's got a really gorgeous sort of textured fabric. This one was one that I was going to originally pick up for my grandma, but mum said, nah, you can sell that one. She's probably not going to love it. I picked it up for $6 and I'm going to list it up for $21.95. Now, when I say these prices, I do also add postage on top of that. So yeah, just a nice little basic one there, but it's a long sleeve and that is what I'm after. Now, in saying that, I did pick up a couple of mid-sleeve pieces. This is one of them. So it's a seed size large mid-sleeve top, this lovely little ruffle detail in a, I think it's a leopard print, not a cheetah print, but yeah, beautiful, nice little basic top. It's in a gorgeous little fabric. Picked that one also up for $6 and I'm going to list it up for $24.95. But those pieces like that, which are workwear, I do feel pretty comfortable still picking up short or long sleeves, because things like that sell all year round. Now, this next one is probably my favorite. It's this Country Road size 12 little shirt. It has this gorgeous little gathered waist section here, which is adjustable. But yeah, I just love it. I think it's adorable. It is sort of a little bit sheer, But yeah, I do think something like this is going to sell really well for me. I did pay up a little bit for this one, so I paid $10 for it, but I'm going to list it up for $39.95. And I'm thinking that if I can get some nice pictures of this one, that this one is going to do really well. Now, next up is this Breckenridge size 10 top. It's sort of an off the shoulder. It's got these nice little ruffled details, and I'm just noticing it does have a little mark on the back, so I might throw that one in the wash. But yeah, Breckenridge is one of those brands that I always think that is going to sell more for. I think the retail is quite high, but got some notifications coming through, but the secondary market selling prices don't really match. But regardless, I did pick this one up for the $9, and I'm going to list it up for $34.95. Alrighties, couple more to go. This one was a Forever New size 12 long sleeve top. It's got some layering details, and we'll have to tie up this little front section to sort of gather up some of those details. But this one is long sleeve, but it is a nice workwear piece, which, like I said, sells all year round. I grabbed it off the half tag rack, or 50% off rack. I paid $4.50 and I'll list it up for $24.95. That is just bread and butter, sells all year round. And I've got 3 more to go. So the first one was this Tiger Lily size 8 paisley long sleeve mini dress. Now, Tiger Lily and this sort of fabric is obviously a more spring summer, but I could see it was long sleeve, and I do think you could probably still get away with it. Now, the thing that although we're in winter, I do live in Western Australia, so we don't get that super cold days. Like, it does rain, but we're not consistently cold like over east in Melbourne, for example. So for this one here, I paid the $9.50 and I'll list it up for $24.95. There were 2 listed for this one at $50 and another one at $30. So look, I'm in the game of just selling stuff. I don't want it sitting around, so I went for the $24.95. And this next one here, now I know I said I need winter long sleeve, etc., but when you find Gorman for $7, you're just going to pick it up, and it is a linen blend. So it's this gorgeous little braided rope design mini dress, and I'm going to list this one up for $49.95. So it doesn't really fit what I'm after putting into my store. However, I think I can make an exception for something like this, which was bizarre because a lot of the other items that were sort of lesser brands, such as Forever New, or even, I guess, Seed, were priced much lower. So I don't know how that Gorman got through at $7, but regardless, I think that was a steal. And finally, we've got this new with tags, which was a recommended retail price of $70. Seed long sleeve basic top. I'm going to list this one up for half of the retail price, which is generally what I do with new with tag items. So I'm going to list it up for $34.95. But there's nothing too much to say about this one. It's basic. It's long sleeve winter, which is what we're after. And I'm hoping that that one shouldn't sit around for too long. Also, I forgot to say, but I picked up that last Seed top for $11, but then I did have a bit of credit. So in the end, I paid $8.90 for it. So pretty good. But I went through and decided to add up how much I paid for all of those items versus how much I'm going to list them all up for, because I do like to do that. I think it's important for your numbers perspective. But I paid a total of $71 for, where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items. So that's less than $10 per item, right? Yeah, I can do math. And I'm going to list them up for $286.55. So yeah, I thought that you guys would be interested in me just throwing this little clip into a larger video. I don't know what that video is going to be, but enjoy it. Alrighty, so let's get into these sales. I think I did mention in that haul video that I am noticing that I need to incorporate some more wintry items into my eBay and Depop stores. And you will see that in these sales, of course, predominantly they are being made up of winter items. So look, self-reflection is a beautiful thing, and on my sourcing journey into the future, we'll definitely be picking up some more winter items. But regardless, the first item was a Country Road size extra small silk long sleeve top. It was more just like an under layer to go under maybe a jumper or something else. It cost me $4.50 at a local op shop. It sold for $26.30, and these prices are all including shipping. So that would have been $15 plus $11.30 post, and I made a profit of $6.32 for that one there. Next up, this was something that I just took a little bit of a gamble on, and the comps seemed good. I'd never come across the brand before. I think it's an American brand, but it was this Zacket and Plover sweater in a size extra large. It was a merino wool blend, and it was mostly caramel jumper, but it had some green patchwork across it, which was pretty cool. I did pay up for this one. I paid $14. However, it sold for $46.30. So I ended up with a profit of $12.67. Next up, we have this Viore size extra small, which was an equivalent to a size 6 Australian. It was a little blush pink, and I think it's called their Daydream Crew. It's long sleeve. It was super buttery soft, so I added that into the description. I picked it up for $11, and I think the other grey one that I had sold in my previous what sold, but the buyer paid $51 including post, and I ended up with a profit of $19.52 for that one. So that was a great sale. That was the first time that I've ever seen Viore at a thrift store, and I don't think I'm going to come across it anytime soon, but if I do, I will be sure to pick it up, because it was both super quick sell through items, I think maybe even within the 2 weeks. Next up, we had this white Valentine size 8 maxi dress. It was long sleeved. I paid $7.33, and I think the 33 cents comes from when I go to an ops shop and I do accidentally pick up something that's flawed and I don't really want to return it. I'll just average out that cost into the other items that I purchased. So I do end up with sort of weird amounts, but that's why. The buyer paid $24.30, and I only made $1.30 profit on that one. So not an amazing pickup. I don't think I'll be picking up that brand again, because it also didn't sell super quickly either. Now, next up was a really fun one. It was a mink pink little Lion King Disney jacket. It was something that I couldn't see a lot of available listings on. The recommended retail price was $149. I paid $10. It sold for $67.45, so I made a profit of $39.95. So next up was something that I originally picked up for my sister, but she didn't want them, so I went and sold them. It was a Kookai white pair of pants in a size 34. I picked them up for only $2.20, so they would have come down to the $2 tag sale, and then I've obviously had another issue where I've purchased an item that I couldn't resell. I've averaged out the cost, so it was $2.20. I can't believe that they stayed around up until the $2 point, but I'm going to assume that that was because of it being such a small size. But regardless, they sold for $36.25 within a week, and I made $19.67 in profit. Now, the last three of my Depop sales, I forgot to mention, but these were all from Depop, was a bundle sale that I made the other day. The buyer had said that she was just coming back from maternity leave and she didn't have anything that fit her, so she went through my closet and found 3 items. Mind you, she picked up sizes 4 to 6, so I can't imagine what size she would have been before. So the first one was this Country Road black work pants in a size 6, basic, super easy workwear. I paid $7.33. They all sold for $18, and on this first one I made $8.39 in profit. The next one was another Country Road piece. This one was a white long sleeve blouse. It was 100% modal. I paid just 50 cents for this one at a local garage sale. Again, it sold for 18, so I made $15.22 in profit. That was a great sale. And the final one was this gorgeous seed maxi dress in a size 4. It was 100% linen, and I did pick it up in a previous Thrift With Me video. So I paid $2 for that one. It sold for 18, so after Depop's fees, I made $13.72. Alrighty, so now getting into my eBay sales. The first was these little bundle of Mimco wallet pouches. This was just one of our items laying around the house, which we no longer used. So I had $0 into these. They sold for $41.15, which made me a profit of $24.52. Now, Mimco might have been, and these pouches, an item to pick up maybe a couple of years ago, but I did find that they did sit around for a little while, maybe a couple of months. So this isn't something that I would go sourcing out at an op shop or garage sale. Maybe if I got it super cheap, I would, but probably not a pickup, to be honest. Next up, we have this Suzanne linen short sleeve top in a size 18, so a plus size piece. It was a 100% beautiful linen floral top. I paid just $2 for this one. It sold for $23.30, and I made a profit of $7.37. This one was one that I was going to potentially pick up for my grandma, but it was just a little bit big for her, so I just ended up selling it. Now, next up we have a Country Road navy mini skirt in a size 12 for $3.40 was how much I paid for it. It sold for $18.46, so I made $14.86 in profit. This one was one that sat around for a little while. It was an older Country Road piece, which I think may have contributed to it, but regardless, it did end up selling, which a lot of the workwear I find does eventually sell. Next up was a new to me brand, which despite being in winter still sold, although it was a tank top. It was a Mr. Zimmy tank top in a size 10. It was blue and had a little frill bottom. To be honest, there was nothing substantial about this one, but I picked it up for $2.47. It sold for $29.26. So I made a profit of $17.48. So I guess if I pick this one up for the right price, it's probably a brand that I will pick up. Next up was this Blue Illusion coral orange long sleeve linen button down top. I picked it up for $2 at an op shop. It sold for $29.26, and I made a profit of $14.26. Now, I think I've said it in the past, but Blue Illusion is one of those brands which I look at it and think, this is nothing special, but it does sell pretty well for me. So there must be a good following out there for it. Now the next one was one that I did pick up in a previous what sold video. It was a chic nude sequin like little party dress. I think I even put like birthday 21st 18th dress in the listing title. I picked it up for $2.20. It sold for $36 because it did have some flaws, like some of the sequins had come out, and I just made sure that I took photos of all of those places and made sure that the description included the flaws. But yeah, regardless, sold for $36, so I made $22.31. So next up we have this Saba black dress. It was a long sleeve, sort of a mid-length dress. It was a size 8. I picked it up for just $2. It sold for $25.25 and I made $9.94 in profit. Again, this was one which I added sort of workwear into the title, and it did sit around for a little bit, but again, it sold. Next up, we have the brand, I always say Decuba, but I think it's Decjuba is what people say. It was a new with tags floral cami tank top in a size 12. I paid just $2 for this one. It surprisingly sold for $30.80. And then I made a profit of $17.32 out of that one. Decuba or Decjuba is a brand that, to be honest, I don't pick up very often, but potentially I may want to look into doing that in the future. Definitely newer tags pieces. The pre-loved ones, maybe not so much. So next up was a Seed Heritage caramel long sleeve top in a size large. It was picked up for a cost of just $2 again. It sold for $41.25 and I made a profit of $26.05, and this one sold super quickly. So these are the type of items I need to be looking for. So the next one was actually another one that I picked up in a recent Thrift With Me video. It was a beige cropped jumper in a size small. This was the one that had the stain on the shoulder area, which I managed to get out for the most part. I paid just $6 for that one. It sold for $56.25. So I ended up with a profit of $37.40. And again, this one was within a week and the buyer was super happy. She left a lovely review. So I was super happy with that sale. Next up, I think this was another one that we purchased in a recent Thrift With Me video, which means that I am doing somewhat well on my sourcing front for my wintry items. It was a review size 8 long sleeve blouse, gorgeous little floral one. I paid $2. It sold for $29.30, so I ended up with a profit of $17.99. The next one, another winter piece. It was a Country Road size extra large grey stripe long sleeve button down top, and it was 100% cotton. I paid $2. It sold for $33.76 and I ended up with $18.16 in profit. The next one was one that I sort of picked up on a whim. It was from the book category. It was a bundle of 13 vintage books, all hardcover, and which did have some pretty good sold comps. I paid just $6.50 for all of these books. The buyer paid $62.96. However, I did not realize how much the postage would be on those items. I think it came to about $35 in post. So I only came out with a profit of $13.09. So look, I probably should just stick to the clothing category. That's what I know. However, sometimes when you see these items in a thrift store, you know, you see the comps, you see such a low cost price, and you sort of think just, hey, let's just do it and see what happens. This next one was again another recent Come Thrift With Me video. So if you haven't seen those, I think you definitely should. I love making those videos. It was a Jason Brunston floral maxi dress. This was the one that I thought would be super cute for a baby shower because it had sort of baby pink and blue, beautiful floral details on it. I paid just $2, and this was one which I said was going to be a bit of a gamble, but I think this one sold within 2 to 3 weeks. It sold for $33.75 and I made $19.29 in profit. So that was a successful gamble for that one there. Here we have another workwear piece. It was this Jackie navy midi dress, which had a beautiful little gathered waist. And again, I used workwear in the title. I paid $1.95. It sold for $29.30. So I made a profit of $11.82 for that one there. I had to put my laptop down because my wrist is getting a little bit sore. But the next one was this Portman's teal sweater in a size small, and which did have a little bit of wool in the blend. I picked it up for $1.75. I think potentially that one was at the Salvo's outlets, like the Goodwill bins over in America, a little while ago. It did sit around for a little while, but it sold for $22.48 and I ended up with $11.95 in profit. Portman's is not a super high-end brand in Australia. It's just one of those more mid-tier, I guess, brands. I don't know. It's predominantly for workwear. But I think, to be honest, the reason why it probably stuck around for a little bit is because I had it priced up a little bit high in self-reflection. We have just 4 more items to go through. The next was a Witchery size 12 sheer floral long sleeve blouse. Again, another one that I picked up in a recent thrift with me. I keep plugging them, but go watch them. It was a $2 cost price for that one. It sold for $27.30 and I made $13.69 in profit on that one. Now this next one is the only flop of this video. It was, again, something out of my category. Maybe I just need to stick to what I know in the clothing category. I don't know. It was a bundle of 5 Leapfrog games, which I did actually have one of those as a kid. I've still got it. I paid $20 for those. I think that was my issue at a $20 purchase price. They sold for $39.95 and then of course I had to ship them off. So I ended up with a loss of $3.06. So yeah, maybe stick to my category, Anna. The second last item was a Witchery size extra large long sleeve top, black and white stripe with a little button detail on the shoulder. I paid $2.47. It sold for $42.21, which is actually quite a bit for such a basic top. But anyways, I made a profit of $15.14 for that one, which was great. And the last one was something pretty interesting, which I think I'm going to do a little bit more experimentation with. I saw a video pop up. I can't remember which YouTuber it was, but she does a lot of style-based sourcing. I think I'll actually insert a clip of the video, but essentially she took the viewers through how she sources in relation to TV shows. So if you can find the piece that was featured in the TV show, it can actually go for a lot of money. She also talked through some examples of where it looks like the actual item and where that can still go for quite a bit of money. So this was one where I picked up. It was a Picnic lace mesh long sleeve top. Picnic is not a brand that goes for a lot of money. I probably would have listed it for $19.95 and accepted an offer for less, to be honest. But I picked it up for $2.20 and I decided to try and market it in this way. And it was very successful. I had plenty of watches on it. It did sit for a little bit with plenty of views and watches, and I ended up just accepting an offer. It was a overseas sale, so they did also add postage, overseas postage in there as well. So I ended up getting $59.65 from the buyer, which is crazy for a picnic top. So I ended up, after posting it off, with a profit of $19.68. So is this something that I would do again? Yeah, probably. It's just a little bit tricky sort of finding those items. I think I'd like to do, I think Elena Gilbert from Vampire Diaries is something quite easy. Like if you can find lots of gothic sort of pieces and, you know, try and find a picture from the show that sort of matches up, I think that's quite easy. I would like also to do a little bit of Gossip Girl type of stuff as well. That was a show that I loved. But yeah, that might be something that you guys want to experiment with. Yeah, and that's definitely something that I want to try and get into. So what you guys have all been waiting for, how much did I make from these 29 items for the month? So I can say that I averaged $16.07 in profit throughout all the items, and I ended up with a total of $466.02 in profit for the month, which is amazing for doing something part-time and that they just selling it only such as, you know, one rate a day. So yeah, it just shows that even as a part-time reseller on the side, as a side hustle, you can make some decent money in addition to your income every single month. But thank you so much for watching that video. This is something that I'm going to do every single month to track my sales. But if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and check out some of my other videos. But thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.